Hi Body Buddies, I'm kristyjo and I'm really excited to share some thoughts with you today about your mind and the way it works and the way that you can become the master of yourself by applying a few techniques that I have found personally helpful in my own transformation and in coaching so many other people to change their lives as well. The first thing I'd like you to think about is I'd like you to picture yourself in a football stadium. You know, one of those big, all the way around, probably an NFL stadium. Well, here's the thing. This is going to represent your mind. So your mind is down on the turf. And you are actually going to sit up on the bleachers, way up in the nosebleeds. And you are going to watch this game playing down on the field. Now you have two teams. One is in red and one is in blue. And, this is funny because I am wearing a University of Utah hat. And if you're from Utah, you know that there's a very big rivalry between the U and BYU. I grew up as a BYU fan. I now live in Salt Lake. I'm neutral. So we'll say that the blue represents BYU and the red represents the U. So no hating. Okay, but so these colors are not representative of good nor bad. But let's just say blue for positive thoughts, and let's say red for negative, just because red naturally does represent that. So anyway, once again, you are up at the top of this stadium and you are watching this game play. Have you ever done that in your mind? Have you ever been able to pull away from your thoughts going on and look at them objectively and realize what's going on? Have you ever realized when there's a foul, and when there's a penalty that needs to be given? This could be the equivalent of seeing something where you had a really negative thought that impacted your behavior, impacted the resulting thoughts, and then it tailspinned out of control. Well, first of all, it's the identification of these thoughts that is going to make a big difference in your lifestyle change. So let's identify what one of those negative thoughts could be. Okay, this game is playing, you're going to have positive, you're going to have negative all throughout the day. But really negative, one of those foul, would be some kind of thought like, well, I've always been bigger and I will continue to always be bigger. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm helpless. So that is a foul. Okay, because number one, as a trainer, as someone who has watched person after person after person change their life and their body, I will sit here and I will tell you it is not impossible. It is very possible. You may need to change your mind. You may need to be applying different nutrition and workout strategies. You may need to be a bit more patient, as the consistency is king in this game. But it is possible. So that is a foul thought. And so you need to be the referee. You need to call foul. You need to kick that player out. How do we do that in our mind? How do we take the negativity and get it out? How do we replace that with positivity? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes those really positive people annoy me. Now, sorry if I'm that person for you. I don't want to annoy you. I want to be a real life person. Here's the thing, is we all have down times. We all get down. We all have negativity, but it's our choice what we focus on. I probably have as many negative thoughts as the rest of you, but guess what? I've learned to reframe those. Okay, coming from a background of horrific eating problems where I could not manage my mind, therefore resulting in these abnormal eating patterns and crazed feeding frenzies, it really started in my mind, where I was able to realize and recognize these thoughts that were coming in. The desire to run from my emotions to food, the desire to replace the non-existent relationships in my life with food. Food and those relationships, that's a real thing. And that's what I coach a lot of people on, is we have to separate ourselves. We need to eat our food and be independent of that food. Our emotions do not dictate what goes in our body. Food is fuel. Our bodies are not a garbage disposal. Our bodies need to be respected and treated well. So here is how we change those thoughts. Here's how we kick them out. And it's called reframing. Now, in my book, The Powerful Lifestyle book, Hopefully you have read this. If not, please pick it up on Amazon. It's not perfect. You know, I actually recorded the audio for it the other day, and I was kind of like, oh, once again, those negative thoughts. I was like, could have written it so much better, and you know, I know so much more now, a year later, than when I wrote it. But the fact is, it's good stuff that you need to apply to your life. The nutrition world is constantly changing, and while all the principles remain true, you know, I had to kick my thoughts to the curb too. So we're all applying these tactics. But anyway, in chapter 2, I talk about mental discipline. So here are some of the voices that you may have heard. I'm already fat, so why should I even try? Everyone already expects me to eat garbage, so I should. If people see me eating healthily, they will wonder why I am so big. I'm already miserable, so may as well eat something delicious and enjoy my misery. Why be fat and unhappy? There's no point to changing my habits. I don't have the willpower to change. The thing is, and then I go on to talk about in this chapter, those thoughts, they can change, but it all starts with your ability to recognize them and pull yourself out. Get up on those bleacher seats. Watch what's going on. Because until you're able to identify those emotions, until you're able to identify the thoughts that are going on in your head and say, whoa, that's negative, that's positive, like, whoa, be a little objective here, that is when you can begin taking control of them and being the master of yourself. So let's take that thought, I've always been fat, I always will be fat. Let's take that thought, let's reframe that. Okay, maybe you have been overweight or obese your whole life, but are you going to allow that to dictate your future? I know it's a natural thought. It is very natural. Once again, it's okay to have negative thoughts. It's not okay to focus on them and keep them in there, letting them play on that turf, in that football stadium. Kick them out. You do that by reframing. So there's the thought. I have always been fat. I will always be fat. Then you say, that's actually not true. I may have always been fat, or use whatever word you want to use, obese, overweight, but from this moment on, I am implementing behaviors that will lead me to an alternate future. How's that for powerful? How's that for giving yourself something to focus on? I am changing my behavior. That's what this is all about. Too often we all focus on results. I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds. How about let's focus on what we do every day that leads to that? How about I'm going to eat at home 6 days out of the week. I'm going to make my own meals and prep my own meals. How about I'm going to focus on having vegetables at every meal? Or I'm going to replace all of my diet soda with water. Okay? Those are behaviors. Those you can control, just like your mind. So reframing those thoughts. You know, it's really important that the words we use, that we change them. So here's some things I'd like you to begin changing. Fat, you know, I've used it up until now, but from now on, and a lot of you are going to laugh, but I want you to change that word and not use it. I want you to refer to yourself as fluffy. Now I know you're probably laughing, but it makes a big difference. It's not about being fluffy, or it's not about being fat, it's about being fluffy. Perhaps you might be feeling, what are some other words I use? Full, feeling a little bit thicker. Okay, those are okay words to use, but you don't say, oh my gosh, I'm so fat today. It's a fat day. Like that is, oh, get those out of your head. You can say, I'm not feeling as lean today. That difference in the way you phrase it in your mind is everything. So stop it. What else? Instead of saying, oh, that person's so skinny. Okay, and I know that's a really big one for girls. Okay, skinny is not a compliment these days. It's not. Fit is in and skinny is not. Skinny is going to deteriorate your muscle so that you can't even do normal everyday things. Okay, we don't want to be skinny. We want to be fit. We want to be healthy. So please focus on that. So the word alternative for skinny is lean. Lean implies less body fat, but not necessarily, I am not skinny. I am lean. I'm not skinny. I don't want to be skinny. What else? Tight. I'm feeling a little bit tighter. I'm feeling leaner. She's looking lean. He's looking lean. And these are different words. It's just a little bit more strategic towards keeping our mindset positive. What else did I want to talk about here? Oh, this is one I use a lot with my clients, okay? So I do a lot of longer programs, like 12, 16, even sometimes 24-week changes. It depends on how much the person has to lose or change. Well, what oftentimes happens, and I'm sure if you have ever tried to, master yourself in nutrition or fitness or tried to make some progress, I hate the term lose weight because it just, ugh. How about lose body fat? There we go. If you have ever made some of these efforts, then you might relate to this. And I talk about it a little bit in my book, but I'm going to go into it a little bit more detail right here. So I'd like you to think about yourself flying an airplane. And just for the sake of distance, let's say you're taking off from LA, and since I have lived for 2 years of my life in Seoul, Korea, 안녕하세요, any of my Korean friends. So we're gonna pretend like you're taking off from LA and going to Seoul, Korea. It's about a 12-hour flight. Whoa, long flight. So we're going to compare this to your journey in reaching your goals, whether it is losing body fat, whether it's gaining muscle, whether it's improving your cholesterol or triglyceride levels, whether it's simply being more functional, maybe it's overcoming an injury, whatever it is, this is your journey, A to B. So here's the problem. That's a 12-hour flight. That's a long time, okay? And I can't put any specific weeks or months on it because everyone's journey is different, but wherever your endpoint is. So the problem is sometimes we take off and we're going gung-ho, we're so excited, and we fly for 2-3 hours, we're a little bit into our journey. We are most definitely over that ocean. We're making progress. But sometimes we can get very discouraged because we're not in Korea yet. And we want to shop for souvenirs. And we want to go see and eat the food, and we want to go do all these things that we do in Korea. But guess what? We are still over that ocean. So what options do you have? You could land in Hawaii and not even reach your goal and be like, well, it was fine, at least I made a little bit of progress. I crossed the ocean. I'm in an island, I'm in Hawaii. But is that where you wanted to go? No. So don't you dare drop your landing gear and stop in Hawaii. You keep on going. You keep that radar on. You set your cruise control and you just go. Here's the thing. Once you lock things in, and especially when you are doing things correctly with the Power Foods lifestyle, with strategic nutrition, I urge you, at the very least, do a consultation with me. Get your plans in gear so that you know you are on the right route. There is so much that can happen. We can strip our gears. We strip our landing gears, and then we just fly in circles getting nowhere. We're going to run out of gas and just plummet to the ocean when we don't have the right plans. There is no perfect plan, but there are definitely some strategic plans. And I would really encourage you, contact me at kristyjo@body-buddies.com to schedule that. Enough of that shameless plug there. But that's the problem is that I hate seeing people working so hard and not getting to their goals because they're not on the right plan. Strategy is everything. Power Foods lifestyle is everything. That's why I constructed it, okay, to help you. So once again, once you are on a strategic plan, you're over that ocean, you need to set that altitude, your cruise control, and just cruise. Get your mind and emotions out of it because you know what? It's going to take time. The evolution of your body is incredible. Your body can do this, but guess what? It didn't get there in a day. It's not going to return to where you want it to be in a day. So put the variables that you need to change your life. Just make them a part of your life. That needs to be who you are. You need to be a person that, I am a person that cooks my own food and preps my own food. I am a person who doesn't need to eat out often. I am a person who avoids fast food restaurants. Okay? You need to start thinking that way. And instead of saying, I'm doing this to reach my goal, you need to become that person. Become that person. Whatever you do, do not Strip your landing gear and fly in circles and tailspin down. Look forward to the future with excitement and hope while maintaining your ability to be consistent. In this game, consistency is king. It's everything. So don't go for 1 or 2 weeks and then be like, oh my gosh, why am I not there yet? Because it takes time. If I could show you my spreadsheets of every week, how my clients' bodies change very subtly. But then you compare week 1 to week 6 and it's like, wow. Then you compare week 1 to week 12 and it's like, wow. And then week 1 to whatever. And you know, the body does change. But if you were to just take that 1 week very minute change, that's enough to get anyone discouraged. So you've got to hang in there. You've got to be relentless. Consistency, consistency, consistency. If you fall down, get back up. That's the beautiful thing about not really being in an airplane. You can't fall down and get back up. All right, one last thing about reframing those thoughts is that you have to remember that you are in control. When you let your mind run you and dictate your behavior, you are a victim. You have let your mind take over and you are refusing to be in control of the person you are. You have the power to take control. Is it scary, especially if you're doing that for the first time? Absolutely. It's terrifying. Any kind of change is terrifying. But just like a rubber band, think of a fresh new rubber band. It's super tight. It's not really going to stretch that much, right? But if you keep at it, it will return, but keep at it and it will slowly increase its pliability, its flexibility. So just like the rubber band, you need to just keep at it. Keep molding, keep going. Don't give up. There is no reason to give up. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you remember to take it one meal at a time and one workout at a time and one day at a time. And I know I say that all the time, but I say it for a reason. It's because you have to break these things down. Don't focus on, oh, in 8 weeks I'll be where I want to be. In 12 weeks I'll be where I want to be. Get that out, because guess what? We live in the present. What are you doing right now to reach your goals? That is where power lies. Reframe those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Be that positive person. Do you know what? One last thing. What I do every morning when I wake up and I'm kind of sleepy and, rolling my eyes around and stuff, I get out my phone. And the first thing I do, I go to the internet and then I type in motivating quotes. And then I click on images because I'd rather read like cute images than just the text. And then I scroll through about 10 to 15. And I don't just look at them and be like, oh, that's lovely. I think about them. What does that mean to me? What does that mean for my day? And that fueling of positivity first thing in the morning is very far-reaching. So I encourage you to try this tool as well. Everything we do is about positivity. That is how you will make this a true lifestyle change. So I'm cheering you on. I want to see you reach your goals. And when you do, I want an email. I want to hear it. I want to hear your story. I want to rejoice in your success with you. kristyjo, KristyJo, @body-buddies.com.